The distress signal. In the vastness of space, far from Earth, there was a peaceful planet called Zarnax. This beautiful world was filled with bright colors and lush landscapes. The Zarnaxians, a gentle and intelligent species, lived in harmony with nature. They had advanced technology, but they were not a warlike people. They valued peace above all else. One day, everything changed. A dark shadow loomed over Zarnax. Space pirates, known for their ruthless ways, were approaching. The Zarnaxians had heard stories of these pirates. They raided planets, stealing resources and terrorizing innocent people. The Zarnaxians were terrified. They knew they needed help. The leaders of Zarnax gathered in their grand hall, a beautiful structure made of crystal and stone. The walls sparkled in the light, reflecting the colors of the setting sun. The leaders discussed their options. "We cannot defend ourselves against these pirates," said Leader Xan, a tall Zarnaxian with shimmering blue skin. "We need to send a distress signal to the Galactic Council. They can help us." "But will they listen?" asked Leader Kira, her green eyes filled with worry. "We are just a small planet. Will they care about our plight?" Xan nodded slowly. "We must try. We have no other choice." They quickly sent out a message, broadcasting their plea for help across the galaxy. The message traveled through the stars, reaching distant planets and ships. It described their plight, the approaching danger, and their hope for assistance. Back on Earth, in the control room of the Earth Space Command, the distress signal was received. The room buzzed with activity. Humans in uniforms worked at their stations, monitoring incoming messages from the galaxy. Commander Johnson, a seasoned officer, noticed the urgent tone in the Zarnaxian message. "What's this?" he asked, reading the message. "A planet called Zarnax is in trouble. They're asking for help against pirates." His assistant, Sarah, leaned in closer. "They sound desperate, Commander. Should we respond?" Commander Johnson thought for a moment. He knew that resources were limited on Earth. The recent interstellar wars had taken a toll on their fleet. They had lost many ships and many brave soldiers. However, the commander also knew that Earth had a responsibility to help others when they were in need. "Let's do it," he said finally. "We may not have our best ships available, but we can send something. Let's dispatch the Rusty Wave." The Rusty Wave was not the newest ship in the fleet. In fact, it was one of the oldest. Its hull was battered, and its engines sputtered more than they roared. But it had one thing going for it. It was still spaceworthy. Commander Johnson felt a sense of nostalgia as he remembered the times the Rusty Wave had been on missions before. "We'll send our least powerful fleet," he explained. "We need to get them there quickly and see what we can do. They might just need a show of force to scare off the pirates." Sarah nodded, trying to hide her skepticism. "But what if the pirates are too strong? What if our old ship can't handle them?" "We'll give them the best support we can," Commander Johnson replied. "And we'll send a crew of young and eager soldiers. They might surprise us." Meanwhile, on Zarnax, the leaders anxiously waited for a response. Hours felt like days. They gathered in the hall, staring at the sky, hoping to see a ship approaching. The worry on their faces grew heavier with each passing moment. Finally, just as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a bright light appeared in the sky. It grew larger and larger until a ship came into view. The Rusty Wave descended toward the surface, its engines roaring to life. The Zarnaxians rushed to the landing area, their hearts filled with hope. They watched as the ship landed awkwardly, sending up clouds of dust. The crew disembarked, a group of young humans looking uncertain yet determined. Captain Alex, a brave but inexperienced leader, stepped forward to greet the Zarnaxians. "Greetings, we are here to help," he shouted, trying to sound confident. Leader Xan stepped forward, relieved to see humans had answered their call. "Thank you for coming. We are grateful for your assistance, but we fear the pirates will arrive soon. We must act quickly." Captain Alex nodded. "We are ready. What do you need us to do?" Leader Kira explained their plan. We have defenses, but they are not strong enough. We need to work together to prepare for the worst. The pirates will not show mercy. As they talked, the crew of the Rusty Wave felt the weight of their mission. They had come thinking they were sending a simple support ship, but they now understood the gravity of the situation. The fate of Zarnax depended on them. The crew, filled with determination, gathered for a quick meeting. They looked at one another, knowing they had to rise to the challenge. They were not the strongest fleet, but they were humans, and they had a reputation for resilience and creativity. Together, we will make a stand, Captain Alex declared, his voice filled with courage. We will show them that even a small ship can make a big difference. As the sun set behind them, casting a warm glow over the assembled group, they knew one thing for sure. They would not let Zarnax down. The pirates were coming, but so were they, ready to fight for what was right. The stage was set for an epic showdown, the calm before the storm. As night fell over Zarnax, a blanket of stars covered the sky. The air was thick with tension, but the Zarnaxians and the crew of the Rusty Wave worked together under the light of their twin moons. They were determined to prepare for the impending pirate attack. The atmosphere was filled with a mixture of anxiety and hope. Captain Alex stood at the forefront, discussing strategies with Leader Xan and Leader Kira. They pointed to a holographic map of Zarnax projected in the air, showing the surrounding area and key locations. The pirates are likely to come from the northwest, Xan said, tapping the map. They always raid from that direction, where the mountains give them cover. Then we should set up our defenses near the riverbank, Kira added, her green eyes glinting with determination. If we can channel them into a narrow path, we can use our laser turrets to hold them back. The humans exchanged glances, impressed by the Zarnaxians' strategic thinking. Alex nodded. Let's do it. We can combine our technology with yours to create an effective defense line. The Rusty Wave has a few weapon systems that we can deploy. As they gathered their resources, the crew members from the Rusty Wave began to feel a sense of camaraderie with the Zarnaxians. They shared stories and laughter, knowing they were in this together. Sarah, the commander's assistant, spoke with Kira, who showed her the advanced Zarnaxian tech that could complement their own. Your technology is fascinating, Sarah exclaimed, her eyes wide with curiosity. How does this work? Kira smiled, proud to share her knowledge. It's powered by energy crystals found in our mountains. They can store immense energy and release it in bursts. We use them to power our defenses and vehicles. The humans marveled at the crystals, realizing they could adapt their own systems to harness this energy. They worked late into the night, combining their technologies and setting up defenses along the riverbank. Hours passed, and the team took shifts resting. Captain Alex found a quiet spot to reflect. He looked out over the peaceful Zarnaxian landscape, marveling at its beauty. He felt a mix of excitement and fear about the battle to come. Suddenly, the tranquility was shattered by a distant roar. Everyone rushed to their stations. The sound of engines echoed through the valley. The pirates had arrived. Get to your posts, Alex shouted, rallying his crew and the Zarnaxians. The previously quiet night transformed into a flurry of movement and urgency. They climbed the hills surrounding the riverbank, eyes fixed on the dark shapes approaching. The pirate ships, grim and intimidating, came into view. Their jagged designs and flashing lights created an ominous sight. Prepare the defenses, Leader Kira shouted, her voice steady. The Zarnaxians activated their laser turrets, glowing with energy, ready to defend their home. The crew from the Rusty Wave secured their weapons and took positions alongside their new allies. Stay focused. We can do this together, Captain Alex urged, his heart racing. He glanced at the faces of the Zarnaxians and his crew, all ready to fight. They were determined to protect Zarnax, no matter the odds. As the pirate ships approached, the tension grew. The Zarnaxians and humans stood shoulder to shoulder, united in purpose. They could see the pirate ships beginning to form a line, preparing for the attack. Suddenly, the leading pirate ship fired a volley of missiles toward the riverbank. Explosions lit up the night sky, and the ground shook beneath their feet. Fire! Fire! Kira commanded. The Zarnaxian turrets unleashed beams of light, striking the incoming missiles. Some were destroyed midair, but others struck the ground, sending debris flying. The humans followed suit, firing their weapons from behind the cover of the hills. The two forces fought back against the pirates, but the enemy had numbers on their side. "Hold the line," Captain Alex shouted, his voice rising above the chaos. The crew fought bravely, but the pirates pressed forward, determined to take what they wanted. Despite their fear, the Zarnaxians stood firm. They activated their energy shields, creating barriers to protect their people. Each blast from the turrets lit up the night, illuminating their determination. As the battle raged on, it became clear that they were outnumbered. The pirates were relentless, pushing toward the riverbank. But the Zarnaxians and humans refused to back down. "Stay together. We are stronger united," Zahn yelled, rallying the troops. They fought side by side, creating a wall of resistance against the invading pirates. Amidst the chaos, Sarah saw an opening. "We can flank them from the side," she shouted to Alex. He nodded, knowing they needed to take risks to turn the tide. "Let's do it. Move," Alex ordered, leading a small group around to the left. They caught the pirates off guard, launching a surprise attack that pushed them back momentarily. For a brief moment, the tide seemed to shift in their favor. But the pirates were not easily deterred. They regrouped, returning with greater force. The night grew darker, and the sounds of battle echoed through the valleys. The Zarnaxians and humans stood their ground, their resolve unbroken. They fought not just for their survival, but for each other. In the face of overwhelming odds, they discovered strength in unity. As the battle wore on, fatigue set in, but neither side showed signs of surrender. They fought on, refusing to let fear dictate their fate. The future of Zarnax rested on their shoulders, and they would do whatever it took to protect it. The night was far from over, and the fight had only just begun. With determination in their hearts, they prepared for the next wave of pirates. The stakes had never been higher, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with. "Stay focused. We can do this together," Captain Alex urged, his heart racing. He glanced at the faces of the Zarnaxians and his crew, all ready to fight. They were determined to protect Zarnax, no matter the odds. As the pirate ships approached, the tension grew. The Zarnaxians and humans stood shoulder to shoulder, united in purpose. They could see the pirates' ships beginning to form a line, preparing for the attack. Suddenly, the leading pirate ship fired a volley of missiles toward the riverbank. Explosions lit up the night sky, and the ground shook beneath their feet. "Fire! Fire!" Kira commanded. The Zarnaxian turrets unleashed beams of light, striking the incoming missiles. Some were destroyed midair, but others struck the ground, sending debris flying. The humans followed suit, firing their weapons from behind the cover of the hills. The two forces fought back against the pirates, but the enemy had numbers on their side. "Hold the line," Captain Alex shouted, his voice rising above the chaos. The crew fought bravely, but the pirates pressed forward, determined to take what they wanted. Despite their fear, the Zarnaxians stood firm. They activated their energy shields, creating barriers to protect their people. Each blast from the turrets lit up the night, illuminating their determination. As the battle raged on, it became clear that they were outnumbered. The pirates were relentless, pushing toward the riverbank. But the Zarnaxians and humans refused to back down. "Stay together. We are stronger united," Zahn yelled, rallying the troops. They fought side by side, creating a wall of resistance against the invading pirates. Amidst the chaos, Sarah saw an opening. "We can flank them from the side," she shouted to Alex. He nodded, knowing they needed to take risks to turn the tide. Let's do it. Move, Alex ordered, leading a small group around to the left. They caught the pirates off guard, launching a surprise attack that pushed them back momentarily. For a brief moment, the tide seemed to shift in their favor, but the pirates were not easily deterred. They regrouped, returning with greater force. The night grew darker, and the sounds of battle echoed through the valleys. The Zarnaxians and humans stood their ground, their resolve unbroken. They fought not just for their survival, but for each other. In the face of overwhelming odds, they discovered strength in unity. As the battle wore on, fatigue set in, but neither side showed signs of surrender. They fought on, refusing to let fear dictate their fate. The future of Zarnax rested on their shoulders, and they would do whatever it took to protect it. The night was far from over, and the fight had only just begun. With determination in their hearts, they prepared for the next wave of pirates. The stakes had never been higher, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with, turning the tide. The battle raged on, and the night sky flickered with the light of explosions and laser beams. Captain Alex led his crew and the Zarnaxians, united in their fight against the pirate onslaught. They had made a stand against overwhelming odds, but they could feel their strength waning. Exhaustion began to creep in as they faced wave after wave of the pirate fleet. "Keep pushing. We can't let them break through," Alex shouted, rallying his team. They were fighting for their lives, and he felt the weight of that responsibility heavily on his shoulders. As the pirates regrouped, their ships began to advance, firing indiscriminately at the riverbank defenses. Each blast sent shockwaves through the ground, and debris rained down around them. "Captain, we need a new plan," Sarah called out, her face smudged with dirt, but her eyes burned with determination. "I know," Alex replied, glancing at the holographic display they had set up earlier. He quickly analyzed the battlefield, searching for a weakness. "We have to find a way to turn their fire against them. We need to create a distraction. Perhaps we can use our smaller ships to lure them away from the main fight," Kira suggested. "If we can draw some of their forces to another location, we can reduce the pressure here." "That's risky," Alex acknowledged, knowing that drawing attention could leave them vulnerable. But he also understood that they had no choice. But it might just work. "Let's split our forces. A small team will go with the Zarnaxians to lure the pirates. The rest will stay here to hold the line," Sarah said, her voice steady. Alex nodded, his heart racing at the thought of sending part of their team into danger. "Okay, let's do it. We'll need to time this perfectly." They quickly organized their forces, splitting into two groups. One team would engage the pirates directly, while the other would execute the distraction. Alex and Kira led the smaller team, and they prepared to set their plan into motion. As they moved away from the main fight, the chaos of the battle faded slightly. They could still hear the sounds of combat, but the urgency of their mission filled their minds. They climbed into one of the smaller ships, the Falcon's Wing, and prepared to take off. "Let's create some noise," Alex said as he activated the ship's systems. The Zarnaxian crew members on board worked efficiently, quickly adjusting the ship's weapons and shields. With a loud roar, they launched into the sky, leaving the riverbank behind. Alex guided the ship toward the pirate fleet, who were focused on the ongoing battle at the riverbank. "Prepare to fire at their ships," Kira ordered, her voice steady despite the danger. "Firing now," Alex shouted as he activated the ship's weapon systems. They unleashed a barrage of laser fire, striking the nearest pirate ship and catching their attention. "Look over here, pirates. We're not done yet," Kira yelled, determination etched on her face. As the pirates noticed the distraction, several of their ships broke away from the main group to chase the smaller ship. The plan was working. They had successfully drawn some of the pirates away. Back at the riverbank, the remaining crew and Zarnaxians noticed the change in the battle. The pirates had become disorganized, focusing on the distraction rather than the main defense. "Now's our chance," Zahn yelled, his voice booming over the chaos. "Push forward. Let's take the fight to them." The remaining forces surged forward, taking advantage of the pirates' disarray. Zarnaxian laser turrets continued to fire, and the humans unleashed their weapons as well. The combined forces began to gain ground, pushing the pirates back. "Together," Alex shouted, his heart racing as he saw the tide beginning to turn. The unity between the Zarnaxians and humans shone brighter than ever. They fought shoulder to shoulder, their spirits lifted by the knowledge that they could win this battle together. Meanwhile, the smaller ship, Falcon's Wing, was now in the midst of the pirate fleet. Alex and Kira expertly navigated through the enemy ships, firing lasers and dodging incoming fire. "Keep their attention on us," Kira instructed. "We need to lead them away from the riverbank." As the pirates chased after them, the Falcon's Wing darted and weaved through the chaotic battlefield. They executed daring maneuvers, outsmarting the larger ships. But soon, the pirates began to regroup, realizing they had been tricked. "They're coming after us," Kira shouted as a larger pirate ship turned its weapons on them. "Hold on," Alex yelled, pulling the ship into a steep dive, narrowly avoiding the incoming fire. "We can't let them catch us." In the heat of battle, Alex and Kira felt the adrenaline coursing through their veins. They were determined to survive, to protect their new allies, and to fight back against the pirates. As they dove and maneuvered through the ships, Kira activated the ship's cloaking device. Suddenly, they'd vanished from sight. "Now we can turn around and hit them hard," she exclaimed. Alex nodded, flipping the controls as they circled back toward the pirate fleet, hidden in the chaos of battle. They emerged from stealth and fired at the nearest ship, catching them by surprise. "Nice shot," Kira cheered, her confidence growing as they made their mark. Back at the riverbank, the Zarnaxians and humans pressed the attack. The pirates began to falter, losing cohesion as they realized they were under siege from both sides. "We can do this," Zahn shouted, encouraging the troops. "Press on." With renewed vigor, the Zarnaxians and humans advanced, pushing the pirates back further. They began to break through the enemy lines, and the tide of battle shifted. Meanwhile, the Falcon's Wing continued its assault, striking pirate ships left and right. The crew fought valiantly, their unity shining through the chaos. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the pirates were losing. Their ships began to retreat, trying to escape the combined forces of humans and Zarnaxians. "We did it," Sarah shouted back at the riverbank, the cheers of victory echoing around them. The strength of their unity had proven more powerful than any enemy. As the remaining pirates flowed into the darkness of space, Alex and Kira returned to the riverbank, where their comrades awaited. The sense of relief washed over them as they celebrated their hard-fought victory. The night sky glimmered with stars once more, a testament to their triumph. They had turned the tide of battle, proving that together they were a formidable force. As they stood together, Alex couldn't help but smile at the bond that had formed between them all. They had come together to fight against a common enemy, and they had emerged victorious. The journey ahead was still uncertain, but they knew one thing for sure. They would face it together, side by side. You said, the aftermath. The battle had ended, but the echoes of conflict still hung in the air. As the smoke began to clear, the remnants of the pirate fleet scattered into the depths of space, leaving behind debris and the faint scent of burnt metal. Captain Alex stood with his crew and their Zarnaxian allies, surveying the battlefield. The stars shone brightly above them, illuminating the aftermath of their hard-fought victory. "Is everyone all right?" Alex asked, his voice steady but filled with concern. He scanned the faces of his crew, relieved to see most were unharmed, although wary. Sarah, Kira, and Son nodded, showing signs of fatigue, but a fierce determination in their eyes. "We did it," Sarah exclaimed, a triumphant smile breaking through her tiredness. "We really did it." "Yes, we did," Kira replied, her voice filled with pride. "But we must assess the damage. The pirates might regroup, and we need to be ready." Alex nodded, knowing that while they had won this battle, the war was far from over. "All right, let's conduct a damage report and see what we can salvage from the enemy ships. We need to prepare for whatever comes next." The crew split into teams, moving among the wreckage of the battlefield. They began to gather information and supplies from the downed pirate ships, carefully noting the extent of their own vessel's damage. Sarnaxian technicians worked alongside the humans, sharing knowledge and skills to repair their ships and bolster their defenses. As the sun began to rise, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, a sense of camaraderie blossomed between the two species. They shared stories, laughter, and their hopes for the future as they worked side by side. The bonds formed during the fight had grown stronger, and they were beginning to see one another as true allies. "Look at this," Sarah called out, waving her arm to gather attention. She had discovered an intact Sarnaxian weapon from a destroyed pirate ship. The device shimmered in the early light, a blend of advanced technology and alien design. "This could be useful in our next fight." Zahn approached, eyes wide with excitement. "Yes, we can adapt it to work with our own systems. This will give us an edge in future battles." As the group gathered around to inspect the weapon, Alex took a moment to appreciate the unity forming between humans and Sarnaxians. They had fought against all odds, and now they stood together, determined to continue their fight. "Let's take this back to the base," Alex said, looking around at his crew and the Sarnaxians. "We can analyze it and figure out how to enhance our capabilities. We'll be ready for whatever comes next." The crew worked tirelessly throughout the day, repairing their ships and strategizing their next move. They were fueled by the adrenaline of victory, but also by the awareness that they needed to remain vigilant. As dusk fell, they gathered for a meeting to discuss the future. "Thank you all for your bravery," Alex began, looking at the gathered crowd of humans and Sarnaxians. "What we accomplished today was extraordinary. We proved that together, we can overcome any enemy." A murmur of agreement rippled through the group, and Kira stood up. "We need to prepare for the possibility that the pirates will regroup. They might not take defeat lightly. We should fortify our defenses and scout the area for any remaining threats." "Agreed," Zahn added, stepping forward. "And we must continue to train together. The more we understand each other's strengths and weaknesses, the better we will fight as one unit." Alex nodded, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "Let's set up training sessions to improve our tactics and communication. We have a unique opportunity here, not just to fight together, but to learn from each other." The discussions continued, and plans were set in motion. They would train together, learn from one another, and build their defenses. Every member of the crew, human and Sarnaxian alike, felt a spark of hope in their hearts. As the weeks passed, the alliance between humans and Sarnaxians grew stronger. They held joint training exercises, exchanging techniques and strategies. Their bond deepened as they faced new challenges, reinforcing their unity as allies. One day, during a training exercise, Sarah found herself paired with a Sarnaxian warrior named Thok. Despite their differences in size and appearance, they quickly discovered a rhythm that complemented each other. "Your footwork is impressive," Thok remarked, a hint of admiration in his voice as they practiced sparring. "You humans are agile." "Thanks. Your strength is incredible," Sarah replied, grinning as she dodged Thok's strikes. "I think together, we make a great team." As the exercises continued, Alex took a moment to observe the growing friendships around him. Laughter echoed through the training grounds, and he felt a surge of pride. They were not just fighting side by side, they were becoming friends. But amidst this growing camaraderie, Alex also sensed a looming threat. They could not forget the pirates. Days passed, but the fear that the pirates would return lingered in the back of his mind. They had won the battle, but he couldn't shake the feeling that a storm was brewing. One evening, As the sun set and painted the sky with shades of purple and gold, Alex gathered his crew once more. I know we've made great strides in our alliance, but we must remain vigilant. I fear the pirates will come back. We need to be prepared for an attack. Zahn stood, his expression serious. We will defend our home. Together, we can outsmart them. We have learned from our last encounter, and we will not fall into the same traps. We will set up patrols, Kira added. Let's make sure we have eyes on every approach. We cannot let them catch us off guard again. Right, Alex confirmed, feeling the weight of leadership resting heavily on his shoulders. Let's finalize our plans and ensure everyone knows their role. We must be ready for whatever comes next. As the meeting adjourned, Alex felt a mixture of hope and apprehension. The bonds they had formed were powerful, but the uncertainty of the future loomed large. He could only hope that their newfound unity would be enough to withstand whatever challenges awaited them. With determination in their hearts and unity as their shield, humans and Zarnaxians prepared to face the unknown together, ready to confront whatever threats the universe had in store. The pirates' return. Days turned into weeks, and the crew continued their training and preparations. The bond between the humans and Zarnaxians grew stronger, yet the shadow of the pirates loomed over them. Rumors circulated that the pirates were regrouping, and the crew knew they had to remain vigilant. One crisp morning, while the sun peeked over the horizon, the ship's radar technician, Sarah, noticed something unusual. She hurried to the command center, where Captain Alex and Kira were discussing their strategy. "Captain, we have a situation," Sarah called out, her voice filled with urgency. Alex turned to her, concern etched on his face. "What is it, Sarah?" "We detected multiple ships approaching from the east. They matched the pirate ships we fought before," Sarah explained, her fingers flying over the control panel. "They're coming in fast." Kira's eyes widened. "We need to warn everyone and prepare for battle. We can't let them catch us off guard." "Get everyone to their battle stations," Alex ordered, his voice firm. "We'll show them we're ready this time." As the crew scrambled into action, adrenaline surged through their veins. The Zarnaxians, with their unique technology and combat skills, moved swiftly alongside their human allies. Together, they prepared their defenses, making sure every weapon was ready and every ship was operational. Within moments, the command center was bustling with activity. Zahn, the Zarnaxian warrior, joined Alex and Kira at the main control panel. "We should set a defensive perimeter," he suggested, his expression serious. "We can't let them breach our lines." "Agreed," Alex replied, pointing to the radar. "We'll create a defensive formation. Sarah, keep tracking their movements and let us know if they change course." Sarah nodded, her focus intense as she monitored the incoming fleet. "They seem to be maintaining a steady approach. I'll keep you updated." As the crew prepared, Alex felt a mix of fear and determination. He had trained for this moment, but facing the pirates again was a daunting task. Yet he also knew that they had grown stronger together. "Remember our training," Kira said, rallying the crew. "We've worked hard for this moment. We're not the same team they faced before." With renewed energy, the crew took their positions. The Zarnaxians moved with confidence, their combat skills sharp and ready for action. Humans checked their weapons, ensuring they were primed and functioning. As the enemy ships drew closer, the tension in the air thickened. 15 seconds until they're in range," Sarah announced, her voice steady despite the tension. "Prepare to engage," Alex shouted, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "Let's show them what we can do." As the pirate ships entered firing range, beams of energy erupted from their cannons. The crew fired back, responding with everything they had. Explosions lit up the void of space, and the sound of battle roared around them. The Zarnaxians used their advanced technology to disrupt the pirates' targeting systems, causing their shots to go wide. At the same time, the humans unleashed a barrage of firepower, striking down the pirate ships one by one. Alex maneuvered the ship with precision, dodging incoming fire and positioning them for optimal shots. "Keep the pressure on them," he shouted, adrenaline coursing through his veins. As the battle raged on, Sarah monitored the battlefield from the command center, her eyes darting between the radar and the chaos outside. "They're losing ships fast. We're pushing them back," she cheered, feeling a rush of pride. But just as victory seemed within reach, a massive pirate ship emerged from the shadows, hidden behind asteroids. Its hull was scared but still formidable, and its cannons glowed ominously. The crew gasped as it fired a devastating energy blast, striking one of their Zarnaxian ships. The explosion was catastrophic, sending debris spiraling into the void. "No, they're targeting our allies," Kira shouted, her heart racing. "We have to protect them." Alex felt a surge of determination. "We can't let them take us down. Everyone, focus your fire on that ship." With renewed vigor, the crew directed their fire at the newly revealed pirate vessel. The combined strength of human and Zarnaxian firepower slammed into its shields, causing sparks to fly. But the pirate ship retaliated, and the crew felt the impact shake their own vessel. The lights flickered, and alarms blared through the command center. "We're taking damage," Sarah yelled, her fingers dancing over the controls to stabilize their systems. "Keep firing. We can't give up now," Alex commanded, his heart pounding as he watched the battle unfold. The stakes were higher than ever, and they couldn't afford to falter. As the fight intensified, San rallied the Zarnaxian troops. "We must not waver. Together, we will conquer this threat," he roared, inspiring his fellow warriors. With a united front, the crew pressed on. They fought with everything they had, their hearts fueled by the knowledge that they were fighting for their home and their newfound alliance. The pirate ship began to take damage, its hull cracking under the relentless assault. Alex felt a surge of hope. They could win this battle, but they needed to push through the pain and fear. As they unleashed one final powerful strike, the pirate ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Cheers erupted from the crew as they witnessed the enemy's defeat. They had triumphed once more. "Victory!" Kira exclaimed, her face lighting up with joy. "We did it." But as they celebrated, Sarah's voice cut through the excitement. "Wait, we have another problem. The remaining pirates are retreating, but we need to track them before they regroup." "Son, can you send out a team to follow them?" Alex asked, regaining his focus. "Absolutely. We will not let them escape," San replied, already preparing a team to pursue the fleeing pirates. With determination, they launched their ships, ready to chase down the remnants of the pirate fleet. The battle had been won, but their mission was not yet complete. They had to ensure the safety of their home and prevent any further threats from rising again. As they sped through the stars, Alex felt a mix of pride and determination. They were united now, stronger than ever, and he was confident that together they could face any challenge that lay ahead. The crew continued to brainstorm ideas, their energy rising as they formulated their plan. They decided to send reconnaissance teams to monitor pirate activity, while the main fleet prepared the defenses. After hours of planning, the crew felt more confident. They had a strategy in place, and they were ready to face whatever the pirates threw at them. As they finished their meeting, Alex turned to his crew. "I know this is a lot to take in, but remember, we are stronger together. We faced adversity before, and we'll face it again. We are not just humans and Zarnaxians. We are allies, and we will protect each other." The crew cheered, their spirits lifted by Alex's words. They were ready to stand united against the threat looming over them. In the following days, the crew worked tirelessly, setting up defenses and preparing for battle. As the countdown to the potential pirate assault began, they felt the tension in the air. On the day before the expected attack, they held a memorial for the Zarnaxian warriors they had lost. Alex spoke, his voice filled with emotion. "We honor those who gave their lives to protect us. Their bravery will inspire us to fight even harder. We will not let their sacrifice be in vain." As the crew paid their respects, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had become more than just a crew. They were a family. Together, they would protect their home and ensure a brighter future for their worlds. As night fell, Alex looked out at the stars, pondering the challenges ahead. The alliance between humans and Zarnaxians was strong, but the true test was yet to come. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the battle ahead. They would face the pirates together, and he was determined to ensure that they emerged victorious. The final stand. The day of the anticipated attack dawned with a tense stillness hanging in the air. Alex stood on the bridge of the Zarnaxian flagship, gazing out at the stars. Around him, the crew was busy making final preparations, their expressions a mix of determination and anxiety. The defensive shields flickered to life, casting a soft blue glow across the deck. "Captain," Kira said, stepping beside him, "all systems are ready. The fleet is positioned around Zarnaxia, and our fighters are prepped for launch." "Good," Alex replied, his mind racing with the strategies they had discussed. "We need to be ready for anything. Once the pirates show themselves, we'll have to act quickly." The atmosphere was electric as the crew gathered for one last briefing. Alex addressed them, his voice firm but encouraging. "Today we stand together to protect our home. The Zarnaxians and humans have united against a common enemy. We will fight with everything we have to defend Zarnaxia. Remember the warriors we lost, and let their courage guide us." The crew cheered, a wave of determination washing over them. They were ready to face the threat together. As they settled into their positions, a sense of foreboding filled the air. Hours passed, and the tension mounted as they awaited the pirate fleet. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship, piercing the silence. "Captain, we have multiple ships approaching," Sarah shouted from her station. "It's the pirate fleet." Alex's heart raced as he quickly assessed the situation. "All hands, battle stations. Prepare for engagement." The crew moved with purpose, their training kicking in. Alex's voice rang out over the comms as he gave orders. "Deploy our fighters and activate the energy shields. Let's show them what we're made of." As the Zarnaxian and human ships maneuvered into position, the pirate fleet emerged from the shadows. They were a chaotic mass of vessels, a menacing sight against the backdrop of space. The pirate ships outnumbered them, but Alex felt the strength of his crew behind him. "Steady, everyone," Alex urged. "We're going to hold our ground. Focus on our tactics. We can't let them overwhelm us." The first shots rang out as the two fleets clashed. Bright beams of energy lit up the darkness, creating a dazzling yet terrifying display. Alex watched as their ships engaged, the Zarnaxian warriors fighting with fierce bravery. Kira piloted their ship with skill, dodging enemy fire as she lined up shots on the nearest pirate vessel. "They're not prepared for our tactics," she shouted, her eyes gleaming with adrenaline. As the battle raged on, Alex coordinated with Zahn, who was overseeing their fighters. "Zahn, send in the second wave. We need to flank them." "On it, Captain." Zahn responded, his voice steady. The fighters launched into the fray, targeting the weaker pirate ships and creating chaos among their ranks. Despite their efforts, the pirate fleet pressed on, their numbers overwhelming. Alex felt the pressure mount as he witnessed the battle unfold. Each ship lost was a heart-wrenching blow. "Captain, we need to retreat to the energy shields," Sarah urged, her eyes darting over the control panel. "We're taking heavy damage." "No," Alex replied, resolve hardening in his chest. "We can't fall back now. We need to push forward and break their line." With a determined nod, he rallied his crew. "Let's show them what we can do. We're not just humans or Zarnaxians. We're a united force. Keep fighting." They fought fiercely, but the tide of the battle shifted against them. The pirates were relentless, and soon their shields began to falter. Just when despair threatened to set in, a familiar voice crackled over the comms. Captain Alex, this is Vokter. We are sending reinforcements. Stand firm. Alex's heart lifted at the news. Copy that, Vokter. We'll hold our position. We're counting on you. As the Zarnaxian reinforcements arrived, the tide of battle began to change. The new ships joined the fray, bolstering their defenses and striking back against the pirates. With their combined strength, they began to turn the battle in their favor. Now let's finish this, Alex shouted, determination blazing in his eyes. He coordinated with Kira and Son, focusing their attacks on the pirate flagship at the center of the chaos. They executed their plan with precision, targeting the flagship's weapon systems. The crew fought with renewed energy, their spirits soaring as they witnessed their combined strength in action. As the flagship began to crumble under their relentless assault, a surge of hope filled the air. "We're almost there," Sarah exclaimed, watching as their efforts began to pay off. With one final push, their ships overwhelmed the pirate flagship, sending it spiraling into the depths of space. Cheers erupted across the comms as the crew celebrated their hard-fought victory. The remaining pirate ships, witnessing their flagship's destruction, turned and fled, scattering into the dark void of space. The crew of the Zarnaxian flagship breathed a collective sigh of relief. "We did it," Kira shouted, her face bright with exhilaration. Alex looked around at his crew, their faces alight with triumph. "We did it together. This victory is a testament to our unity." As they returned to Zarnaxia, the crew celebrated their hard-won success. They had faced a formidable enemy and emerged victorious, strengthening the bond between humans and Zarnaxians. Once they landed, Alex stood before the gathered warriors, both Zarnaxians and humans. "Today, we have proven that when we stand together, we are unstoppable. We have forged a bond that goes beyond our differences. Together, we will face whatever challenges the galaxy throws at us." The crowd erupted in cheers, a wave of unity and strength pulsing through them. They had fought valiantly, and their alliance had been solidified in the crucible of battle. As the sun set over Zarnaxia, Alex felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished. They were no longer just allies. They were a family. Together, they would continue to defend their worlds and build a brighter future for all. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info.